Welcome back, everybody. Today we've got something that I'm going to apologize ahead of time if we have any issues with keeping in frame, as it is quite large. I'm also going to apologize for any dirt or dust that may be a bit beyond normal on the studio bench. I recently rebuilt my old desktop with the intent of selling it and hopefully to move us forward to one of those Alder Lake chips when those ship. But that means there was a whole lot of dust in a really tiny room. Anyway, the star of today's show, an absolutely massive panel in from Viotek. This is the FI32DB. Now this is a little bit different than some of the other panels we've looked at before. In a couple of ways. Number one is just huge. This is an absolutely massive panel at 32 inches and 2560 by 1440. Number two is that I don't think it calls for any form of variable refresh rate, but it's 1440p at 75 hertz. So this is not necessarily going to be a gaming panel as much as it would be a general office business panel. Looking on the side here, which I'm just going to have to take a picture of, DisplayPort HDMI at 16 by 9, there's an audio out, 1200 to 1 contrast ratio, 75 hertz. And what do we got on the other side of the box is just the same as the first side. Oh, here we go. Alright, and then on this end, once again, I'm just going to have to take a picture. Box contents: one Viotek 31.5-inch LED monitor, one power cable, one HDMI cable, one user manual. Well, that's a bummer that this comes with HDMI. We're going to use it with DisplayPort anyway. I'm going to just slice this open off frame really quick. Alrighty. Look at all that styrofoam. That panel is fairly well protected. Let's take a look at what we get. So we get a hunk of metal and what appears to be a pretty basic little Visa mount. And it looks like we're going to get tilt adjust, and that's about it. A bag with our manual, power cable, and HDMI cable. Oh man, I really hate external power bricks on monitors. They're just a pain. Alright. There's that. And I didn't see any screws. So either they're... Nope, not on the other side of this foam. Aha! All of our screws are here. So let's go ahead and grab a Phillips screwdriver really quick. We're going to put these together. Actually, yeah, I'm going to put these together, although I'm not going to put it on the stand right now. And the reason for that is I don't think it's going to fit inside my workspace on the stand in a way that you're all going to be able to see it. So I'm going to put that there so I don't lose it. And take a look at the back of the panel, which is actually fairly well done, especially if this thing supports picture in picture and picture by picture. So let's take a look at the manual really quick. Monitor, stand stem, stand base, HDMI, power cable, etc. So I've got two HDMIs, both are HDMI 1.4, one DisplayPort, one mini DisplayPort, one VGA, and one audio out. everything other than this VGA port actually supports sound in the video channel. So you're going to get audio out on everybody but VGA, which outside of crazy people like me, you're probably not using VGA on anything. Oh, and there's a cover plate here that hides where the screws are. Man, that is stubborn. I'm going to need a slotted screwdriver or something to pop that out. Open the package. Monitor with foam still attached, which we've done. Take out the stem, screwdriver, etc. Mount installation. There is a Visa mount accessory which is not included. That is a bummer. I'm kind of upset that a panel this size with a stand this primitive wouldn't include a Visa mount adapter. On-screen display, picture display, color advanced input. So what I don't see is any form of picture-in-picture and picture-by-picture, which is a real bummer at this size and this resolution. But we will see once we get it powered on. So I need this thing. We're going to hook it up to the power cable that I have attached to my kilowatt. And because I just detest HDMI, we're going to use the display port. Now I will say that at this size and this resolution for a panel of this type, the distinction between HDMI and display port's pretty slim. You're going to get the full color and resolution and frame rate, or sorry, refresh rate with either connector. Oh, this is almost so big I hit the ceiling flipping it over. Oh. All right. And then I need another power cable. Gotta plug in our test bench. There we go. Okay. Yeah, do your wake from sleep thing. Let's square that up some. Holy shit, that's big. Now the viewing angles on this are pretty good. I think that's IPS. I'm not getting any real color shift at this angle. So I'm looking at the panel. I'm about eye levels 10 or so inches above, and then I'm looking out and I'm seeing a little bit of shift like here in the corner where some icons are, and I hope that is coming through clear on. Well, yeah, no duh, it's not calibrated. It's not the right panel. You know, it's terrible. From this angle, there we go. I could not find my mouse. I almost need like a step stool. Okay, so I guess, you know what, first up, let's actually just check our display settings. So yeah, 2560 by 1440. And I cannot read that at There we go. 74.964 hertz. Neat. Okay. Well, that all worked just out of the box. And we are on Intel graphics. We're not on the NVIDIA graphics. So even if this did support variable refresh rate, we're just not going to get that here. Fire up our Blur Busters UFO. Just get a quick hint. Not bad. 19 is really weird. Okay. And in the meantime, let's just get some color bars. Yeah, those will do. So I'm seeing nothing out of the ordinary. Just at my first glance, this is you watched. Well, you didn't watch me open it because it's behind me, but I opened it here in real time. I've had this panel out of its box for about 10 minutes, and overall, my first impression is that I don't like it as much as the 27-inch that we had in before. That was a 180 hertz panel. It was a little smaller, but it was 180 hertz. It supported tilt and rotate. I don't see any picture-in-picture, picture-by-picture here. In fact, so that's volume. That's my source selection. Yeah, I don't see ultra vivid. Oh, so we do support FreeSync. That is not mentioned anywhere on any of the documentation. Not that I think. There it is, FreeSync range, 48 hertz to 75 hertz. That's not huge, but that's good. Color gamut, 72% NTSC. I think that's smaller than the other panel. Okay, so what we have, I think, is an earlier panel, and it's just more basic. A screen this size, although, like I said, wouldn't necessarily be my first choice over the 27, and I haven't even looked at the price, and maybe I'll change my mind, really does just beg to be wall-mounted. There's plenty of places where 75 hertz is good enough. I don't necessarily need picture-in-picture. I just want to bolt it to a wall and get basic information, although in a few of those you might end up just using a TV. There's definitely instances where a proper monitor would be preferred. Now that's neither here nor there. So normally I would hand a monitor off to Jordan for gaming. I don't think this is what I'm going to do that with. Let me know in the comments if you think I should anyway, but this is not a gaming panel. I think I'm going to take it to work and put it on my desk and use it for a couple of weeks. I'm going to calibrate it there. We'll calibrate it a second time when we close out our coverage on this panel. But I think this is really an upscale office panel. Let's take a look at what the price is. So $240 on Amazon today. I mean, you can spend $150 on a 1080 panel. $240 at this size. There's definitely people in office jobs that are going to appreciate this. If the color space isn't terrible, it might be a decent option for an additional panel for someone who does video editing or photo editing. And what I mean by that is we've got a photo editor at my day job, and he has a beautiful 27-inch Dell Ultra Sharp. There are times when he just needs a second screen to show things to clients while he's doing stuff on the other panel. And then there are times where he needs to have reference stuff up next to him. And for that, well, buying a second Dill Ultra Sharp, the class of the one that he has, not really feasible. Something like this, yeah, you know what? As long as it's not horribly shallow on the color space, which it doesn't look like it's going to be. I mean, it's IPS. I bet we're going to get 95% sRGB without too much fuss. I don't think we're going to hit the same color space we did on the GFI27. By the way, these need better names. FI32DB does not roll off the tongue at all. Anyway, let's go back to the UFOs. So I've rambled for a few minutes. Sum it up, TLDR. I don't think this is a gaming panel. It looks like a decent office panel. At $230 as an entry-level panel, or someone who just wants big and doesn't necessarily want 144 Hz. 75 Hz is a nice bonus. FreeSync is a nice bonus. None of that is stuff this panel appears to be optimized for. The stand, you're going to get tilt adjust, and that's it. There's no height adjust. There's no rotate. This stand is pretty basic, and I'm not really pleased that the metal plate's not included. You know what? That's probably Viotek's biggest issue on most of the panels I looked at. I looked at that little 24-inch panel that was a 144 Hz panel, and although I wasn't a huge fan of VA, I understood it for the price point, but the stand sucked. And I wrote it off as anyone spending that much money is probably going to either be happy with that stand or buy a better one. We had the 27 and that was great. And then we've got this one, and the stand just kind of... This is not the worst stand they could have given me, but it's not the best either. I mean, this thing could be plastic, or they could have done that terrible thing where there's two, and my 49-inch TV came with this, two little crappy feet that bolt into the bottom of the base. So I'm happy I didn't get that. The use of the external power brick is really a bummer. I think that limits some of the things that this can do. And one thing they didn't do that I've seen other companies do when you get the external power brick is there's no place for this to like snap in behind the monitor. Although I still don't like these bricks. On monitors where I've been able to basically click it in behind the monitor and forget that it's an external brick, I'm not as upset about that. And the last one that I looked at that did that was a Samsung 27-inch 1440p panel. Okay, so bad stand, not happy about the power adapter. Panel itself looks okay. Lack of a VESA adapter is a bummer. $240 price tag. I'm going to have to do a little poking around to see what else lives in that price range before I really make a statement there one way or the other. It doesn't feel like a bad price. All right. Full disclosure, obviously Viotek sent us this panel, and here I am saying that there's things that suck about it. So I'm not pulling any punches here. As always, I want to thank Electrix for providing our opening and closing themes. I want to thank anyone who supports Pocketables, either using our Patreon or our Amazon affiliate links. It's support like that helps make videos like this possible. And finally, thank you for watching.